Good morning, Kenyans. Allow me to ask you a question this morning. I would like to know what you really want with your country. Do you want relief or do you want change? Now, let me explain what I mean. For those who want relief, they want to have money in their pocket today, so that they can afford good things that they've always wanted. They want to have roads paved so that they will not travel in very bad roads, or they will feel like they're in a developed country. And they want to be allowed to walk around their country without any hindrances. Suffice to say that they want good things now. But on the other hand, there is change, because those things you can get them. For example, now, successful governments have been ensuring that we get those things like good roads, like money in our pocket, by going for loans, borrowing heavily so that we can have our infrastructure funded, so that we can get handouts and such things. But on the other hand, there is change, true change. That this country will be in a position to support its citizens. That our production will reach a point where what we are using is ours. Our shilling is supported by production, by exports. That is not artificial wellness or rich or comfort. Now, to be able to get this change, if you really want it, we have to make sacrifices. We must accept that. We have to make sacrifices. We've got to accept that things cannot change overnight. I believe that the only way that we are not going to put people into temptations of giving us promises which they never fulfill. Because you see, politicians know that we Kenyans are gullible. We like being promised good things. And when we are promised heaven, because we want that heaven, even without minding if we really deserve the heaven, we will elect them. So a politician will come and tell us, oh, I'll give you milk in the pipes. Oh, you'll get bottled butter in your houses. Oh, electricity will be free. Oh, education will be free. And we clap and we celebrate them. But the question is, can our country afford it? And if it cannot afford it, which miracle is going to be done so that those things can actually reach us? So if you want relief, you want to hear those things because you want them. But if you don't want change, you must think of how can we help this country attain economic independence. Because until and unless we attain economic independence, we will always be dependent on IMF, those Western countries, and they will dictate our terms. Like now, for example, some of those taxes that are being imposed on us, they don't originate here. These are requirements from our multilateral donors. And those people in authority sometimes have got no option but to accept, because if they don't, they will be denied credit. So, if we want real change, we must be ready to sacrifice. We must not demand from politicians to give us handouts. We must not demand for instant gratification. We must know that nothing comes from nothing. Everything has to come from somewhere. If we are being given free education, then on our side, we are producing enough down here so that government can have revenue to fund that program. If we want our roads to be autobahns, as they call them in Germany, straight superhighways, then this country must be producing enough to actually afford that. If we want everybody in this country to have electricity, it will not come from nowhere. We have to work for it. So, people are becoming lazier and lazier, wanting to sit down and the government does everything. We give birth to children, they're given free medical, free education, up to university. And all we want is money in our pockets and no taxation. You hate me for that. But I want to be realistic. We have to accept change, real change. And if we are going to have real change, we must be ready to sacrifice. We must change our mindset. Politicians are not cash cows. They don't have an unlimited supply of cash that they will come and dish all over, giving us mchere, what, and money in our pocket. That money has to come from somewhere. So stop saying that you don't know where the loans went to. If you went and got free cash from a politician that you are not worked for, then you ate that loan. Kenyans, we must be ready for some pain if we want to gain. We must delay our gratification so that this country can move to the next step. We must be ready for sacrifice. And we have to start here at the grassroots. Let's purpose not to elect people who give us the most handouts here on the grassroots, at the grassroots. Let's not demand cash from politicians when they come to campaign. Let them make posters. Let them transport people. And of course, if they transport people to go to a certain place to work for them, let them feed them. But let's not line up on the roadside and wait for politicians so that they give us handouts. And let's not imagine that roads are made from nothing, or that free education comes from somewhere. Hii mali ya umma tunaofikiria inaudiwa wapi? Hakuna mali ya umma. Mali ni yetu. Umma ni sisi. Ni ile mali ambayo tumechuma sisi. Hiyo ndio mali ya umma. Kwa usema inaweza kutumika vyovyote, ni mali ya umma. Yaani uko radhi pesa zako zivujwe kwa sababu ni mali ya umma. Let's blow the whistle against those politicians who use that public office wrongly. Yeah. Even if that person is in a position to share that truth with you. That's the only way we are going to change this country. Otherwise, we'll never, ever, ever change. Even if we change leaders as many times as possible, this country will never change. Thank you.